Check this out. This your boy Warren G, and I just jumped off the porch with my homeboy Dirty Glove Bastard. You better ask somebody. If you don't know, now you know. Off the porch, fool.
Nobody does it better. I'm sitting here tripping, my mind is blocked. Nate Dogg just spit it, so it's time to...
Yes, sir, yes, sir. We right back at it, y'all. We got a living legend right here, jumping off the porch with us today. We got the one and only Warren G. What's up, bro?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Man, coolin', bro, man. It's a pleasure to have you, you know, grace the porch, bro.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yes, sir, yes,
good.
sir.
Yes, indeed.
So Warren G, living legend in the game, Long Beach, California.
Yes, indeed.
Man, can you tell us about Long Beach? I mean, we've heard a lot about it, you know, through the years, but from your perspective, man, can you tell us, you know, like what the vibe was of Long Beach when you were coming up?
It was cool. Long Beach is you know, really a really cool city. You have a lot of good people. You have, you know, everything that comes with a city. You know, you got sports. You got the gang bang life, you got just, you know, just cool, you know, but those are, you know, just like any other city, you know, any other city in the world, you know, we got the same thing just like everybody else. It's just a city with a good vibe, a lot of good people, and that's Long Beach.
At what point when you were coming up, did you realize that it wasn't just all fun and games in the neighborhood, that it was a serious side to it too, you know?
Yeah, I realized that Long Beach wasn't no fun and games, you know, after I graduated high school. You know, to that point it was, you know, I was having fun like crazy, but when it came time getting out of high school and just, you know, figuring out life, you know, which path I'm gonna go on. That's when I found out it wasn't no joke. You know, I didn't have no job. Was trying to make money. I got kicked out the house, so I was pretty much put to the street. You know, so I had to hustle. And you know, we used to hustle on the street. It was called 61st and Linden. It was 61st Street, but it was 61st and Linden. And just being in that environment, and you know, it was a lot of gunplay. A lot of gunplay. We was getting shot at every other day. You know, we was getting at people. And just, you know, I was like, this ain't how it's supposed to be. You know, so it was rough. It was rough. And you know, a lot of people like to glorify that, like, yeah, I was selling drugs, I was doing that. This was just, we was born in this shit. Like, we was born in it. And you know, luckily we had an interest in music, you know, and was doing something as well as hustling, you know, and, you know, even going to jail, you know, we didn't go to the penitentiary. A lot of our guys went to the penitentiary, but guys like me and Snoop, we probably was the only two out of all our homeboys that didn't graduate. We graduated to the county jail now, that was enough. And that was LA County Jail at that time was like, you know, it was really rough because you had crib modules, blood modules, you had different modules, and it was gladiator school. But you know, those were the things that let me know that Long Beach was nothing to play with. You know, as I graduated high school and became a teen, and just going through the things that a young teen fresh out of high school go through, trying to find their way. And that's what I was going through, you know, it was the hustling mode, and there was a lot of gunplay, a lot of gang banging, a lot of prostitution, and just seeing a person get shot right in front of your face, you know, and getting shot at every day, and then you guys having to get back at people at the same time. It was rough. It was rough.
I mean, that's like a lot of trauma and a lot to be dealing with, like at that young of an age, and just in that short period of a time. Because like you said, like you witnessing something so traumatic, and then right at the snap of a finger, you gotta figure out if you getting get back or if you know what I mean, just, you know, what that is. Do you remember when you first jumped off the porch?
I probably was like I jumped off the porch. I've been off the porch all my life.
Yeah.
I started off under the bridge, which is a well-known landmark in Long Beach, California. I went from under the bridge with a lot of my homeboys who is dead in jail. It was thugging at that age, and I was like 7 years old then, you know, and went from under the bridge to 21st and Lewis Street, and from there over to Pasadena. So I was off the porch like at a very young age. Had to be at least like 7 or 8.
Word. And people that don't know, you know, like the geography of Los Angeles and all that, when you say Pasadena, that's a nice little distance from Long Beach. Like that's not just right up the street.
It's about 30 minutes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So you like for real, you really stepping.
Yeah.
you making a move like that.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Word. And so like, I know you said you was in sports coming up. When did you find your love for music?
I've always had a love for music. My father, you know, him and my mother was divorced, so he would come pick me up. And I would go to his house, and he would just play jazz music for me, and you know, cook and things like that, which I picked up myself as well, cooking, barbecuing.
Oh yeah, come on. Mad you ain't bringing none of that Sniff and Griffin through.
I will. Hey, I got you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed. And my father used to just play jazz music all day. We would sit there and just lay down on the pillows and just listen to jazz all day. And that's pretty much what trained me as far as like the soulfulness that comes out in my music. Came from me, you know, laying on the pillows listening to jazz with my father, and which that led to, you know, when my father and Dre's mom married, I was a pup then too as well, and just being around Andre and Tyree, I looked at them as those is my brothers now.
Right.
You know, so we became a family.
Okay.
And just trying to be like Dre, he was DJing, doing his thing DJing, and I asked him one day, like, can you show me how to do that? And he showed me.
Word.
You know, and from that point on, I wanted to be like him. You know how the little brother wants to be like the big brother.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's kind of like how that happened as far as the DJ side.
Okay.
You know, and just, you know, being turned on by all the music that he was doing with the mixtapes, and you know, being with the World Class Wrecking Crew, out doing this thing, you know, all of that inspired me.
Word.
You know what I mean? So that made me want to get into it as well as sports. I was a sports guy.
Okay.
But
What
I
sport?
loved music as well.
What sport?
Football.
Okay.
Yep, I played football.
What position?
I played every position on the field from a kid all the way. I even played on the line.
Oh, okay.
I ain't gonna lie, from a kid all the way up.
Yeah.
One of my buddies tried to clown me. I said, shit, the linemen get paid the most money in the NFL.
Come on.
Check that. But I played line, I played running back, I played receiver, I played tight end, safety, corner.
Yeah.
I even played nose guard.
Oh,
I mean, I played every position on the field.
Yeah.
Outside linebacker, because I was a big kid when I was young. And, you know, that was my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Word. And so at what point did VIP Records kind of come into, you know, the picture for you?
Yeah.
Like, when were you, you know, tapping into that store and
Well,
around there?
the VIP was always there, you know, from me as a pup.
Yeah.
You know, and in elementary school, VIP was always there. When we started coming to the VIP, I mean, we used to just go by there anyway, just to hang out, because the VIP was the spot. And, you know, we see a lot of friends, everybody would meet up at the VIP, going there buying records and stuff like that. But on our journey, while we was hustling and wanting to do music as well, we couldn't find no place to do like our demos. So we would go to the VIP, and Calvin had a studio in the back, so we would, you know, ask him if we could get down in the back. You know, some days we could, some days we couldn't. You know, and
And who all was this going to VIP and in the studio?
This was me, Snoop, and Nate.
Okay.
Yeah, me, Snoop, and Nate, which was 213.
Right.
That was our group name.
Okay.
And all of us were the same guys as well. That was on 61st and Linden, the spot I was talking about where we was hustling.
Right.
Yeah, that. So the VIP was giving us a place to come to try and let out our emotions and feelings through our music. Yeah. You know, and even though we was still in the mix of what was going on in the neighborhood, we had that platform right there to go in and create music.
Right. Do you remember some of those first sessions at VIP? And was that the first real studio that you recorded in?
Well, we recorded in the VIP, but then we also did our real official first demo was done in an apartment. Okay. With my homeboy DJ Money B. Okay. Who's also out of Long Beach, who we went to high school with. Yeah. That's when we did it was a mixtape pretty much called Long Beach is a Motherfucker. Okay. And we did that right out of his house in his mother bedroom on the, I think it was either 4-track or 8-track recorder and turntable and mixer in an SP1200. Yeah. And that was our official first demo, but like I said, during the hustling stages, the VIP was giving us a platform at the same time. And I mean, it was cool, you know, just being in there, getting a chance to be around Slice, who we respected. He was a DJ. Just watching him do his thing and do beats and stuff like that, that was real dope, you know. But the just being able to go to the studio with Dre and him at Audio Achievements, that was another. I was still hustling then. I was still hustling, but you know, every now and then I would get to go to Audio Achievements where Dre and them was to hang out, you know, and that was my official first, you know, time just being in a real studio. Okay. And I used to come and hang out so much that they even put me on a skit. Huh. You know, it was called 1-900 to Compton on the Niggas for Life album. Yeah. You know, I was the one in the jail saying, man, get your motherfucking hands off me. Oh,
that was funny.
That was me.
Word, yeah.
Yeah, and so that was my real first experience as you know, just being in the studio.
Yeah, and did you know, like, when you know, during those first sessions, during those early sessions, did you know, like, man, we got it, like, we got this? Like, did it kind of come like that, or was it a lot of work and building?
It was a lot of work. If you listen to this DJ, you'll hear me talk about the Voltron crew. The Voltron crew was my crew. Like, it was me, Snoop, the twins. We had tons of people. I can't name everybody. It was Steve, it was Antonio Red, it was Fabian, Tick, well, Baby Papa and Tick, which I mentioned in this DJ. It was just, we was like the Fat Albert gang back in the day. But we used to sell candy for this dude named Steve. And while we were selling candy after work, what we would do is we would, in the van, everybody would be freestyling. And that right there was like the training facility for us in the van, freestyling after we were selling candy for this dude. Yeah. You know, on our way back home, that's all we did. He would take us to McDonald's to get a Big Mac value pack, because that's when they first came out. Yeah. And that right there was our training playground. So everybody that was in that mix was dope. So that's how I knew that, you know, once we got older and we was doing our thing, you know, able to go to the VIP, go to Money B, you know, I knew that we had it because everybody would be captivated by what we was doing. You know, Nate would be singing, you know, Snoop would be rapping and shit, I beatbox, or I rap, doing some freestyling. And one of the crazy things that was happening back then, I was so much of you know, looking up to Dre so much that they had a song called The Cabbage Patch. Okay. So I was able to hear the shit before anybody. So what I would do, I learned his song. So when I got into the Voltron crew, into the band, I started rapping the song. They were like, damn, that nigga bussin'. I'm rapping his verse. And you know, that was like a moment, you know, it was a trip. I was dope now, don't get me wrong. But, you know, that's how much I looked up to Dre and wanting to be like him. I had learned the song and everything.
Yeah.
And you know, those were the training sessions for us. You know, so by the time, you know, we was able to you know, actually we was getting shot down a lot. We was getting shot down like crazy, you know, from a lot of record companies and, you know, people we trying to get to work with us. I even mailed cassette tapes to Carol Lewis and, you know, Eric B. and Rakim. I mailed demo tapes to these people, like mailing them to them just so they could hear us.
So you buying the tapes, seeing the address like in the credits and all of that.
And I mail it. I mailed the demo tapes to them.
Ultimate hustle.
And you know, I mean, it panned out, and just to, you know, get in the lab finally and, you know, get a taste of it. We knew what we had already. We knew we was doing shit that was different from everybody.
Yeah.
You know, because you had Nate singing, he was on some R&B shit, singing, you know, R&B gangster shit.
Right.
Nobody wasn't doing it like that.
Right, yeah.
You know, and then you
One
had
of the first
Snoop.
people you heard cussing but singing. You know what I mean?
You know, Snoop was the smooth macadamia.
Yeah.
You know, and I was Sir Cool. That's what they used to call me,
Word.
Sir Cool. You know, because I would, you know, one of my guys that inspired me as well was Jimmy Spicer, Count Cool-Out. You know, he used to have that little I get down, I get down, I get down all the way. I rock to the rhythm of the double R rockin', this is what I say. So my style was kind of like that, you know, because I loved what he was doing, because he was like, had different characters in his rhymes. So that's where, if you hear me, like in Endo Smoke, with me and Mr. Green was H&R puff the stuff in your lungs, sipping on the chronic, getting straight sprung. You know, I would do that during my raps.
Word.
You know, so, you know, we was different from everybody. So, and we knew that what we was doing was different. So, people just didn't understand it. You know, so one day, I hit Dre. I was like, man, what's going on? Because I used to go to Audio Achievements, go hang out with him, you know, and then get my ass back into the hood. And so one day I called him and I was like, look, man, can I come hang out? Because it was pretty rough in the city. There was a lot of things going on in the city, so I was trying to get out. And so he was like, come up, you know, come hang out. I'm doing a bachelor party for LA Dre. And so, shit, I hopped in my homeboy Rod. He had an RX-7, and my other homeboy Kenny Mack. We jumped in the car, went up to the I think it was the Bonaventure Hotel. It was one of those big hotels down in LA. Went in and hung out. You know, I'm young, but seeing all these strippers and beautiful ladies, and they was playing music. So I asked LA Dre, can I play this? While they was, you know, because the music was like the same stuff. So I gave it to him, he popped it in, he started playing the shit. And then he was like, damn, this shit banging. He was like, who is this? I said, this is me. I said, this is me, my homeboy Snoop and Nate Dogg. He said, I've been trying to let Dre hear it to let him know, you know, we got some good shit. And he was like, what? You know, have you let him hear it? I said, no, I didn't want to let him hear it. Because he had shot us down a couple of times at the family functions, but it, you know, it was all good. And so he called him over there and was like, Dre, listen to this. He was like, this shit is dope. So Dre came over and was like, nodding his head like, that's hard. He was like, who was that? I was like, that's me, Snoop and Nate. He was like, that's y'all? I was like, yeah. He was like, shit. He said, that shit hard. He said, shit, y'all come up to the studio on Monday, you know? And I hope I ain't jaw-jacking too much.
No, that's perfect, because
So,
I was going to ask you, like, how you introduced, you know,
Yes.
Snoop to Dre, so it's perfect.
Yeah, so at that time, it was a lot of people that was kind of like in Snoop ear, you know, kind of like trying to break him off and to do his own thing on the solo tip. And it kind of had me upset, had Nate upset, so we were just like tripping, so we was kind of at it a little bit. We all stayed in the same place at my homeboy Rump house, because we was all in the street. But Rump and Christine and Kim and Keisha gave us a place to lay our head. And so he was out on the move, so I called him like, Snoop, I talked to Dre, and he wants to come to the studio on Monday. And he was like, nigga, fuck you, nah. Boom, hang the phone up. So I called him back like, man, listen to me, Snoop. Dre want us to come to the studio on Monday. Let me call him on the three-way. Yeah. And that's when I hit the thing, boo, 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 boo. Called Dre. I was like, Andre, would you please tell Snoop that you want us to come to the studio on Monday? He was like, yeah, this Dre. Yeah, I want you guys to come to the studio on Monday. Snoop was like, this Dr. Dre? He's like, yeah, this is Dre. He was like, oh shit. Yeah. He's like, all right, man. And after that, you know, we linked up and was celebrating and shit, because we thought we made it. We was like, oh shit, we made it. Oh, we going up there with Dre. Right. And so come Monday, it was time, we was heading on up there, and we didn't have a ride up there. So my homeboy Rump, who we was living with, he had this Ford. I forgot what kind of Ford it was, but it was, we driving in that motherfucker rolling, and we took the street the whole way to Hollywood from Long Beach. So every time we get to the light, you know how you gotta keep pushing the gas so you could keep going. So we did that all the way to Hollywood, and we got in there with Dre, and the first thing he did was throw a beat on. It was Hold On and the Big Payback. It was mixed together. It was cold. Yeah. And Snoop did a song right then and there called Gangsta's Life. Wow. And
just freestyle, like right there on the spot? Or
he did it right there on the spot. Yeah. You know, and Dre was blown away like, damn, shit, like this nigga dope. Yeah. And then he was like, shit, let's keep working. So we kept working, and you know, we was working so much, he was like, look, Warren, Snoop, you guys come stay with me so y'all can get up out the neighborhood. You know, get out the hood and come live with me and let's work. Yeah. So we moved in with Dre and just started working and working and working and just, you know, doing music. And
wow, man, you done connected some of the craziest dots in hip hop history. I mean, I couldn't imagine if you wouldn't have been persistent and connected those dots. Like we wouldn't have so many classics. I mean, just the culture wouldn't be moved in the way that it even is. Do you ever sit back and recognize that?
I don't really be tripping. I just, you know, I'm just loving to do music. Absolutely. Keep doing music, still doing it as if it was when I first started. You know, I love doing music. Right. You know, but that lane that had opened it up for Corrupt, Daz, RBX, Nate Dogg, you know, and as a matter of fact, Corrupt. This how we met Corrupt. We met him at the Roxy. In a battle. Him and Snoop. They was battling in front of the Roxy. That. Yeah. And that nigga Corrupt was hard than a motherfucker. I ain't gonna lie, he was hard as fuck. I was like, shit. I said, Snoop, you got a battle on your motherfucking hands here. Yeah. And
guys from Philly be some beasts.
It ended up being like a draw. Cause he was like, you got a pinky ring on your finger. He said, you got a pinky ring on your finger, and that's true, but if you look at mine, I got one too. And it was like, whoa. Ooh, but they was going at it back and forth. And so it was kind of like a draw. So everybody backed up, and I got his number. Yeah. I got a Corrupt number, and I told him, I said, man, look, I'm gonna call you in about a week or two. Come up, I want to do some music with you. So got him up to the house, did a demo tape on him, let Dre and Suge them hear it, and they signed him immediately.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn. So you was an A&R without like even without even knowing what an A&R is or whatever. You know
I just want to see people win. Yeah. You know, I want to see people win. You know, you know, I do as far as like, want people to know what I have done.
Yeah.
I just don't, I'm just not one of those type of dudes that's like, I did this, I did that, or I'm responsible for this, I'm responsible for that. I let the actions, you know, and the things that happen say that instead of me bragging about it, but
absolutely.
I need to start speaking up because the young world don't know.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's, you know, that was a huge reason why I reached out to DJ Funky to, you know, ask you to be on the platform, because me being a fan and knowing, you know, your contribution to hip hop, I know that our audience may not know that, may not even know that like some of their favorite music from today is influenced from things that, you know, that you did. I mean, even bruh, your song Regulate is one of the most legendary songs in hip hop. Like it's amongst like, I feel like Regulate is in like a top 5 of songs that like, almost everybody in the world knows, you know what I mean? Will Smith's Summertime is in that list. Regulate is in that, you know what I mean? Like it's, you know, like you're in what do they say? Rare company, you know what I'm saying? So absolutely, man, like your contributions, you know, should be told and people should give you your flowers. So nah, for sure, man, for sure. So, in connecting these dots and doing all that, I always thought it was interesting that, you know, you were the only artist kind of from that circle that was on Def Jam. You know, everybody else was, you know, Death Row, you know, Interscope, you know, everything West Coast Dillons, but you were on Def Jam. Can you speak to how that came about?
Well, I mean, we was doing our thing, you know, just putting in a lot of work, you know. There was a couple situations where I bumped heads with Suge a couple times. You know, during our workings and stuff like that. So I don't think he really dug me. You know what I mean? Or
creatively, or like what type of?
It was just, you know, I just wasn't like a motherfucker that was just gonna sit there and just go for anything. You know what I mean? So, you know, and he probably would say himself that I'm not mad at Warren for saying don't sign that contract, you know, because it's a person being a businessman about it, you know, don't sign it, get a lawyer. He would tell somebody that, you know what I mean? So, but that's what was going on with some of the artists that was, you know, signed to the label. So I told him, like, look, don't sign that shit, man, get a lawyer. You know, even though we love Dre and Suge is our homeboy, we with these guys, but at the same time, you can't just sign anything. So, you know, one of my constituents took it upon himself and went and told him what I said. So, you know, he came out and was furious. And then, where Warren at, blood? I took off. And, you know, he caught up with me. You know, we locked up. He slammed me against the wall. And he was like, you know, telling me, pissed off, you know, blood, you told him not to do. And I was like, yeah, shit. I was like, man, you know, get your hands off me, you know? And so I think that's kind of like what started the separation there. You know, it was a few altercations where it was just, you know, things, we was bumping heads a little bit, so it wasn't gonna work for me, and I guess that's how he felt, you know? So I started getting left out of a lot of things, you know? So I was like, I got at Dre like, what's up, man, what's going on? But what led me to that is the tour was starting and everybody was going on tour and everybody was situated with tickets and with their roles and what they was gonna do, but me. You know, so I get to the airport, I got my shit like, nigga, it's on. We getting ready to go on tour. I always wanted to go on tour and didn't have shit. So I was pissed off about that, so I got at Dre and I was like, damn, what's up, man? And he was like, Warren, just be your own man and do you. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a let off, like pretty much like, nigga, just go do your shit and create your shit. You don't want to get down with what's going on, pretty much. That's kind of like how it felt. So I was crushed, you know, I was hurt about the situation, so I just went back to the shit that I didn't want to go to. I was back in the hood, sleeping on the floor, had my drum machine, my crate of records and my mixer, and back on the floor. You know, mind you, we had did the whole Chronic album. You know, so I was just pissed.
Yeah,
like,
I can imagine.
You know, cause we did that for Dre. We wanted Dre to get the best, and we wanted him to win so bad because he was solo away from NWA, and it was kind of like they was kind of tripping on him. So we came in to back him up and make him as big as we could for him. You know, as far as me doing production, going out buying the records, but getting the samples, sampling them, giving them to Dre, like, Dre, what this sound like? That shit is dope. Turned out to be Let Me Ride. You know, was in Carson searching for records, came back, had another record. Boom, Dre played it, boom. G-Thing, you know. I bought the whole black exploitation movie soundtracks, came in there, got a lot of the skits off of there for the Chronic album, the Dolomite shit, you know, a lot of that stuff, like even the skit with You Really Don't Understand, Do You? In order to make this thing work, came with that, you know what I mean? Then I did the D's Nuts skit.
Right, yeah, I was gonna talk about that, yeah, for sure.
And we did that, so we was just working to help Dre blow up, you know what I mean? We wanted him to blow up. He was so incredible. He taught me. Yeah. You know, he taught me how to work the MPC 60, him and 187 from Above the Law. But Dre really showed me in depth what to do on there. So from him showing me that was the love shown back to him by me finding these samples and doing this and that and this. You know, he taught me how to splice tape, put it back together. And you know, that was just the love being showed back for you know, helping us and teaching us. Right. You know, so that's how everything had went at that point. But like I said, I went back to sleeping on the floor, had my crate of records that I helped with on the Chronic. I had all my shit right there, my mixer, and a 45. And I got I got a phone call. Let me take it back. I went back to the floor. So I was back in the neighborhood, you know, back to the regular shit. So I was still out moving and doing music, trying to work with guys. So I found two MCs called Mr. One. His name was Mr. Graham and Zagu. Okay. That was their names. Okay. And so I did music on them. Okay.
Yeah, I was about to ask you how Endo Smoke came about.
And then I was doing music on them, and then Zagu and Mr. Graham kind of like separated. So I was starting to do a lot of music with Mr. Graham. So I did. I had that Blowfly sample, Rap Dirty. Sampled it, put a bunch of drums up under it, and I hope you didn't hear that. I had burped a little bit. So what I did is I took Rap Dirty, found a dope part in there, put some drums up under it, put some scratches. I was even scratching, it's a Betty Wright. I was scratching that up in there. If you listen to it close, you'll hear Betty Wright. And, oh. I was scratching all that shit up in there. And we did Endo Smoke, and Endo Smoke was dope as fuck. Yeah. You know, and I still used to go around snooping them, even though I was like kind of like on the outskirts. Yeah. We also had a song, I forgot the name of it, but it was the sample, Little Ghetto Boy. Oh, okay, yeah. So I did the song with Mr. Graham, and Dre had heard that song. He was like, that shit is hard. So I go ahead, you redo it. So he redid it, and that ended up being Little Ghetto Boy. Wow. Because I had the drums going like this. Boom, boom, pa, pa, boom, pa, boom, boom, pa, pa, boom, pa, boom, ah, boom, pa, Dre took it and he did his own drums and did a different drum pattern to it. And that shit was dope, and then had live instrumentation on it.
What you gonna do when you grow up?
That shit was dope as fuck. So all of that stuff was going on, and I even had got a call from MC Breed.
Okay.
You know, which was my first introduction into Tupac.
Okay, word.
Because MC Breed had a song called You Gotta Get Yours,
Yep,
I Gotta Get Mine.
Yeah.
I produced that.
Word.
And that was the record that
Yeah,
introduced me to Tupac.
Word.
Which was also some of my first production, like outside of my brother now.
Yeah.
That and Endo Smoke.
So in hindsight, you know, the tough love that Dre gave you, you know, and telling you like, man, go be your own man. Even though at the time you said you was crushed and it didn't seem like, you know, the right thing, in hindsight, that really helped you to expand and take your sound even further and you know, work with other artists and things like that.
Yeah. Like I said, I was crushed, but I had got like Rocky said, the eye of the tiger. Like it was just something that came in me. Like I ain't going out like that. I gotta do my thing.
So how did you take that energy of, you know, being so disappointed and things like that, and actually turn that into fuel to, you know, make you work harder and, you know, push harder? Because a lot of times those types of things bring resentment to us, and man, sometimes, man, we'll spiral and take ourselves steps backwards, you know, going through all the negative energy that we'll put in. So how'd you come out of that?
Well, that was exactly what it did. It you know, all of that just made me work harder. Yeah. It just made me go harder, and just, like I said, gave me the eye of the tiger, just wanting to let the world hear what I was doing. At the same time, I wish I could have been with my buddies, but I started giving a lot of that energy that I had built up to MC Breed, to Tupac. You know what I mean? I did You Gotta Get Yours, I Gotta Get Mine, which led to me doing MC Breed's whole album. Wow. I did that whole album, and I had Endo Smoke at the same time. Which, like I said, I was still going by the studios with Dre and Snoop and them, so I popped into the studio one day while they was doing, actually it was Who Am I, Snoop's record, Who Am I, and Paul Stewart and John Singleton was in there at the same time looking for songs for their soundtrack, and that was a record that Dre was doing for the soundtrack. So
what movie, what film?
Poetic Justice.
Okay.
So I was in there, so I was like, look, I said, man, I got a song. Can you know, listen to this record? So Paul Stewart was like, yeah, come on. So we went out to the car. I had a Burgundy Regal, had a little bit of beat in it, popped in a tape, and I started playing Endo Smoke.
Wow.
So it went on for like maybe about 20, 30 seconds, and he said, stop, man. So I was like, looked at this, I was like, man, fuck this motherfucker. He straight about to diss me. So he said, can I take the tape? I said, go ahead, take it. He said, I want to listen to it.
Yeah.
And he called me a few days after that and said, Warren, we want this to be our first single on the Poetic Justice soundtrack. So I was like, are you serious? He was like, no, I'm dead serious. We want this to be our first single. So we did the deal. Finally got me a little bit of cheese. I was like, oh shit. You know, first thing I did was help out my sister. And, you know, the girl I was with, gave her some money, and just whoever, my family, whatever, I was helping people.
What did that feel like, bro? Like your first rap check and something significant too. Like, what did that feel like, bro?
It felt great. You know, it felt great. But like I said, I started helping the people who helped me in the beginning. But my very first rap check where I got signed as a Warren G, that shit was, I was like, God damn, but guess what I did? I went and bought my own equipment. Cause I was like, you know what? I'm not getting ready to spend $1,500 a day in the studio. Yeah. I get my own stuff and do my own shit. So I went and got an apartment, got my own equipment, set my shit up in my little apartment, my 1-bedroom apartment, 2-bedroom apartment. One room was equipment, one room was my bed.
Word.
And did it like that with my first first check that I got. You know, I didn't go crazy.
So you was being smart with your money then.
Yeah, being smart, and I bought a Jeep. I bought a Jeep Cherokee.
Word.
And that, you know, that's what had happened, you know, with the big check that I got from Def Jam.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, the Poetic Justice soundtrack, I got the first single. So that blew up. It went gold immediately. That blew up. And so a record company started calling. So Paul and John hit me one day and said, Def Jam want to talk to you.
Okay.
You know, and at that time, it was a lot of companies like inquiring, but none of them was, you know, they were just all inquiring. So
now I'd heard a story. Tell me if this is true at all. I heard a story that like some of the labels were actually calling VIP Records looking for you. Is that accurate or? I
don't remember that one.
Okay.
They might have been.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't remember it.
Okay.
So I talked to Def Jam, and it was Chris Lighty, Leor Cohen, and Tracy Waples, and we was all on the phone just talking, and they was like, well, we want the guy, we want one of the artists that's on that record that you produce. So I was like, hey, it's all good. I'll give him a call, and it's Mr. Grimm. I'll let him know what time it is that, you know, you guys want to get with him, you know. And they was saying like, we love what he do. He had the dude, he was kind of doing like a singing vibe to his he said to what he was doing. So I said, you mean the second guy that was rapping? He's like, yeah, the guy that when it came on, the next guy.
Yeah.
So I said, shit, that's me.
Well, look,
that's me.
You passing off so many opportunities, man. You about to pass yours out.
So I said, that's me. And they was like, we want to sign you.
Word.
And
how did that feel?
That was incredible, because like I said, it was labels checking in like crazy.
Yeah.
So I had to think about it, and what made me pick Def Jam was Beat Street, Crush Groove.
Oh yeah.
The Beastie Boys, Run DMC,
Yeah.
Eric B. and Rakim, you know, because they was all part of that Def Jam, Carrie Lewis, the Russell Simmons, Rick Rubin, all that era. So I'm like, these motherfuckers, this is hip hop right here. So I want to be a part of that. So did the deal.
Word. When you were signed to Def Jam, did you ever, because this was also during the time of this East Coast, West Coast stuff too.
Yeah.
So like, had you ever experienced any of that
Nothing.
type of energy being on a label that's mainly East Coast, but you being a West Coast artist?
None of that.
Okay.
Actually, the only thing that happened during that time, because I was in New York a lot. The only thing that was kind of like on some bullshit was when I went to Willie Burgers one day down in Harlem, and it was a motherfucking wheelchair. He rolled up and was like, motherfucking West Coast niggas tripping. So I'm like, damn, nigga, like, what's up? He tripping. He had some goons with him too. So it was me and my brother-in-law. So I told Kenny, I'm gonna go to the car real quick. So I walked back, because we had the van parked right in front of the burger place. So I went right back in the car, and I acted like I was sitting down, but when I sat down, I was like, lack. Threw my shit back on my hip, and I came back outside.
Yeah.
And then one of my buddies was friends with a G from Queens. I don't want to get into, I ain't into saying people's names and stuff like that, but one of my guys was really huge from Queens, so he know everybody. Yeah. So I told my guy that this motherfuckers is tripping over here. So he reached out to my folks. That was one of the guys that fuck with my people who live, it's from Harlem Boss. So the Harlem Boss pulled up, you know, and then there was another boss that owned there was another boss in there. He owned the soul food spot. I think it was called Sylvia's or something like that. He was a boss.
Sylvia's. Oh yeah.
And so they all came over there, and once they learned who my guy was, that they knew, they told that nigga, look, you better back up. Yeah. You know, you gotta back up. That ain't. Yeah. That's not cool. That ain't nothing gonna turn out great if you get to fucking with him. Yeah. And So I went through that incident, but that was it. Other than that, I had a buddy named Benny Rat that when we first got there, as me and the twins, he took us all around Harlem. So we never experienced like motherfuckers being outside at 3, 4 in the morning. Little kids outside, people braiding hair, riding bikes, playing. 3, 4 in the morning. I'm in LA. We in the house at 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's like crazy.
Really
so
the city that never sleeps.
it was a trip. So all of that stuff had like really tripped us out. But as far as any bad energy, I never got that. Everybody showed me love. LL Cool J came and picked me up, took me to Queens, showed me where he started at. I even seen the Suzuki Jeep that he had, and Tina got a big old butt.
Wow.
I seen his closet. He showed me all. I never seen that many clothes in my life and shoes.
Yeah.
And Heavy D came and fucked with me. Heavy D called me on the phone. Just everybody was showing me love.
Yeah.
You know, they was calling me. Run DMC showed me so much love. Everybody was just showing love.
Word.
And as a matter of fact, I was even out there when the shit happened where Snoop and them was in Red Hook, Brooklyn, and the shots rang.
Yeah.
I was out there too. Me and Grand Poopa was in the club partying.
Oh wow. Man.
I was a young buck
Grand
though, but
Poopa
but my thing
ever,
was
man.
it's kind of like today, like how you got like Thugger, and Thugger fucking with Ice-T or somebody, you know, like just showing like I'm a young dude. I look up to you guys, so I always wanted to be around y'all. So Grand Poopa was my guy.
Come on,
him and
man.
Special K and all. I was like, I was a fan. So
yeah, for sure.
me and Grand Poopa in the club partying like a motherfucker.
Grand Poopa the freshest nigga ever, bro.
Yeah, and I got a call what happened, and I immediately started calling, contacted Snoop and them, and we all just, you know, met up, you know, and they was telling me what happened, but I was there. Can't speak on a lot of it, but the radio station shit, that shit, I heard it myself. I was in the car. What was said on the radio.
Wow.
But it was like, but that was my guy at the same time. Like, damn, nigga, I just came to your neighborhood to talk to you about squashing shit.
Yeah.
You know, but it be other people involved, you know what I mean? Like other people in motherfuckers' ears and shit. So
sure.
it's never the two main people.
Right. Yeah, that's always how it is. Yeah, it's never the two main people. It's always some folks in the entourage, some other folks got something to prove. Yeah. And then the main cats gotta now be involved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The love was real though. New York showed me mega love.
Word.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you who was one of my dogs too. When I first came out there, it was me and my brother-in-law again. We was out there in New York, and we went to a modeling party. Okay. With Russell.
Oh, okay, word.
And he was like, "Look, don't worry about things in here. Just it's a lot of beautiful women in here. You know." He was like, "Just because you know it's different things."
Yeah.
So we ain't used to that shit. You know, like seeing like gay guys and shit and women and all in the same. We ain't used to that.
Right. And at this time, this was a whole different time.
Yeah,
so
it was a whole different time.
Yeah.
So we wasn't used to
Right.
all of that, but that was the modeling world.
Yep.
So he was just like, "Man, it's a lot of beautiful women in here. That's just, you know, that's what it is. There it is.
Yep.
The ladies. That's what we here for."
Yeah.
And Andre Harrell had came and hung out with us. So it was me, Russell, and Andre Harrell, and my brother-in-law. And they broke out some champagne that I've seen in the 70s movies. It was called Mums.
Huh.
They broke that shit out. And so I was like, shit, you know, they pouring glass, we having drinks of champagne. So I said, Russell, shit, I got some weed, do you mind? I had snuck some weed over there. Back then they had chocolate tie.
Oh, okay, yeah,
on
the
stick.
chocolate stick.
I had the real chocolate, the dark chocolate tie on the stick. Fire.
Yeah.
And
tastes like you smoking a Tootsie Roll or something.
Yeah, I rolled that shit up. I smoked some with me, Russell, and Andre Harrell and Kenny Mack. We blazing that motherfucker, and I was like, that's when I knew. I was like, this nigga Russell is a cool motherfucker. I'm glad I signed with this nigga.
Word.
You know, and Andre Harrell, every time we would bump heads, he would always give me game. Like he'd tell me something like, Warren, you should do this, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I still got shit in my head that he told me.
Word.
I just haven't, told anybody the idea that he told me to do it, because you gotta watch it. The motherfucker steal your shit, so I have to put it together myself and then let it out. But I do still have ideas, and I'm gonna do it still.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Andre Herrera.
Yeah, word.
Yes, indeed. But it was love. New York showed the utmost respect and love.
Nah, that's what's up, man. And do you remember recording the song Regulate and like how that all came about?
Yeah, well, Regulate, I do remember recording it to a T. I bought the record. I bought a crate of records at Roscoe's. It was a dude out there selling records for like $1. I told him, look, man, here go 500. I think it's about $500. I gave him. I took the whole crate and went home, because that's what I would do, go get my records and just go through them, listening, trying to find shit. And so I ran across the Michael McDonald. I keep forgetting. And it was Michael McDonald and the Doobie Brothers. And when I heard the song, I knew it because of my parents. So I was like, damn, I need to redo this motherfucker like on some hip hop shit. So I sampled it, I sampled it in different parts, and then had some keys played in certain parts. And the beat was already, I had it all pieced and put together. I still, as a matter of fact, I still got the discs.
Oh, wow.
That I used and I got the MPC 60 that I used.
Oh, wow.
To do Regulate, and one of the MPCs that we worked on the Chronic album. I have it still.
Yeah.
And
were you and Nate in the studio while you were making the beat, or you made the beat
separately?
No,
I did everything by myself.
Okay.
So at that time, I had the beat there, but I had to make it make sense. So at that time, we used to say, we gotta regulate this shit. Y'all regulate that shit over there. That was our word over there at Def Row, I mean.
Oh, okay.
We used to say that was the Def Row days. We used to say, man, we gotta regulate that shit. And so I was like, I'm sitting up here looking at the Young Guns one day, because that was one of my favorite movies, and I heard that dude say regulators. Regulate any stealing of his property. No, he said regulate. He said work for Mr. Tisdale as regulators. We regulate any stealing of his property. And then there was another part that went down. He said, and we're damn good too. And then I took the other part and said, but you can't be any geek off the street.
Right.
Then I hit it, gotta be handled with steel, if you know what I mean. Earn your keep. So I pieced all this. I made all those words.
Okay. I always wondered if that was one straight like.
No, I took this piece, that piece, that like a puzzle, just chopping different chops and putting them together. And once I did that,
how did you know that the regulators mount up? How did you
know
that's
what Emilio Estevez said in the movie. He said, regulators, mount up. So I was like, regulators, mount up.
Yeah.
Mimicking him.
Word.
And so what I did was, that wasn't on there yet. The regulators, mount up. Okay. That wasn't on there yet. The intro was there, and the regulators. Regulate, all that was there. And then I called Nate. I said, Nate, I got one. I think it's a really good record. I said, come put your verse on here. Let's go do a back and forth like Snoop and Dre did with G-Thang. So Nate came over, and I played the beat, and he was, Nate was, he'd have having some Hennessy, and Nate got that face. He'd be like, like he'd be like looking mean and shit, like have his Hennessy and shit. He ain't saying shit. He'd just sit there. So I was like, fuck it, let's do 4 and 4. So freestyle.
Yeah.
I straight came off on a freestyle on there. I said, it was a clear black night, a clear white moon. Warren G was on the streets trying to consume some skirts for the eve so I could get some phones rolling in my ride, chilling all alone. But when I said skirts, I'm talking about women.
Yeah.
And trying to get some headphones.
Come on now.
Yeah. So Nate came right in, just hit the east side of the LBC on a mission trying to find Mr. Warren G.
Yeah.
Cause he going off of what I said, cause I'm going to get some girls. So you know what time it is.
Right.
You know, he on the mission trying to find me, cause he know I be on the move. and then I moved that into to a situation where it's like I turned into the wrong situation in the hood, like, and I ended up being in some shit that I didn't want to get in, which was this was a real story. As far as like some shit that some of my homeboys, it was I was there, but I couldn't help.
Right.
I couldn't regulate, I couldn't do nothing because I ain't had no. These niggas had choppers.
Yeah.
It ain't nothing you could do. So my homeboys was getting robbed, and I couldn't. It wasn't nothing I could do. You know. We couldn't do shit or get killed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we just had to take that on the chin. But it was a story of that, along with some of the other things that, you know, we would go through. I just told the story of that along with some of the things that we experienced at the same time. I put it all in one song, and I was like, shit, I'm tweaking into a whole new era. I wanted to like separate myself like on some other shit, like I'm tweaking into a whole new era. G-Funk, step to this idea, funk on a whole new level. And then I was like, Nate was like, the rhythm is the bass and the bass is the treble. And then I came in chords, strings, we brings melody. And there's G-Funk, where rhythm is life and life is rhythm. And that shit was like, I mean, I don't know how we pieced it together, but as far as like how it came together so smooth. And we was confused, we was stuck because we didn't have a hook. So I was like, shit, fuck it, let's just leave the shit like it is for people to imagination to take over. Yeah. Right after they hear the story that we told, let's just let the imagination go from there. Yeah. And that's what happened.
Wow.
But as far as regulate being put on, like blowing up, that part I was actually in the studio with Dre and my other cat Mike Lynn. They was in the studio working on some things, and I let Dre hear regulate. He was like, that's cool. So I was like, damn, yeah, I'm crushed again. So I call, I tell Mike, I say, Mike, listen to this, man. Let me let you hear this. So we get in the car. So once again, I popped the tape in, playing it. Yeah. Mike was like, shit, let me have this tape, Warren. So I said, take it. Yeah. Nigga called me the next day and said, Jimmy Iovine want this to be the first single off the Above the Rim soundtrack. Wow. So I had to go to Russell and Lior and them like, look, I know this is kind of crazy, but Death Row want to use Regulate on the Above the Rim soundtrack. So then those connections got put together. Wow. And ended up being the first single off the Above the Rim, catapulting that whole soundtrack to 4 million records sold. So what we did was we piggybacked off of that, took Regulate, repackaged it, and put it out and dropped it as my official first single off my album. Right. And then it shifted from the 4 million being sold over there, shifted over here to this doing 3 million. Mm-hmm. And then right after that, and that's when we dropped that This DJ right on top of it. Yeah. And then we hit them with that Do You See came right up under there. Yeah. So it was dope.
Wow, that's amazing.
But that's how all that stuff came about.
Yeah. So after you finished recording Regulate, you and Nate in the studio, y'all listening to it, was it one of those things where y'all like fist pumped in the air, like, man, we know we got the coldest song ever?
We was just sitting there just bouncing. Yeah. This shit hard. Drinking. Yeah. You know, we were drinking, smoking the joint, just listening to it. We kept playing it back. Yeah. And then this is what we used to do with every record. We would go to our homeboys and like, y'all listen to this, tell us what you think about this. Play it. And if they ain't bouncing to it or grooving to it, it's like, nah, you know, but we played that shit, boom. All my homeboys, they was like, damn, it's like, nigga, this shit is banging. everybody started, hey, boom, 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 it was hard. So everybody, you know, that was, my friends was like my A&Rs at the same time too.
For sure.
You know, and even when recording music, even when we used to do like the Chronic and when we did the Chronic and all that stuff like that, just the people that was in there, the you know, beautiful ladies, homeboys, everybody in there, those are the signs that would let us know as artists that our shit is banging. When they grooving, because they don't do music, they just hear the shit.
Right, for sure.
You know
I mean,
yeah,
like your partners, like they like in the neighborhood, the people that's not gonna just tell you yeah to everything.
Yeah,
they gonna be the best ears, the best critics to it, because they gonna give you the real. Yeah, it's not gonna be from a industry standpoint. It's not gonna be any type of, you know, just anything put on it. It's just gonna be the real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's interesting because your first two singles, like you got introduced to the world on motion picture soundtracks.
Yes, indeed.
You know what I mean? That's just a interesting way. I feel like almost like just a kind of unconventional, you know what I'm saying, way to bubble, get your name out there and all that. So, so then with the album dropping, and I mean, and you was just dropping. I mean, it was back to back.
Yeah.
Like the singles, like it was back to back classes. I mean, this DJ to what's the song?
Do you see?
Yeah. You don't see what I see every day as Warren G. Yeah.
I got a bunch of records. I got a bunch of records.
When did you connect with Dove Shack? Because that song in itself is such a legendary song in Cali, Summertime in the LBC. Yeah.
Well, they was bubbling in Long Beach, and actually, Def Jam had got at me about them. They asked me like, "What's up with the Dove Shack? You know them?" I said, "Yeah, I know them." And they was like, "Well, we like what they doing. We want to sign them." I think it was Jam Master Jay, I think. I'm not sure. If I'm not mistaken, it was Jam Master Jay that was interested in the Dove Shack. So I did a record with him to help him out and put it on my album. And that record catapulted them to being signed by Def Jam, you know. But then Def Jam was like, "Well, Warren, can we say that they're on G-Funk, that they G-Funk?" I said, "Yeah, it's all good," but not having a business mind back then, I should have charged Def Jam for that, you know. Not, I mean, even though they're my homeboys, but at the same time, I'm giving all the work I put in. You guys capitalized off of it for free. I didn't get no royalties or nothing from nothing with the Dove Shack. All I did was get them signed. You know, and they still used my name, G-Funk. You know, which I didn't have no problem with. You know, them was my guys. They was doing their thing. And
shit, they shout you out on the hook.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Oh yeah, and it got them in the game. You know what I'm saying? They some cool cats.
So I want to tap into the fact that, you know, you took your career into your own hands and you made the moves that were necessary to do that, because you could have easily, you know, being Dre's younger brother and being so close to, you know, all of this success, you could have easily have, you know, kind of sat back, had an ego, and have not, you know, pushed forward like how you did. I mean, I even see a lot of artists, you know, to this day who are brothers to some superstars who aren't putting in, you know, that necessary work, at least from my perspective or other perspective, you know, whatever it may be. But can you just speak on just the fact that even though you could be so close to some success, you can't count somebody else's pockets. You can't consider somebody else's success yours. You still got to go and get it. Can you speak to that, man? Because you a testament to that.
I had to build my own. You know, I didn't never want anybody to say, "Oh shit, he the only reason why he done made it is because of Dre." You know what I mean? I ain't trying to be one of those guys. I want people to know me for what I did.
Absolutely.
You know, so I just stayed outside the box and really just started putting in work as far as music, doing songs, people doing soundtracks, producing for guys like Ron Isley and a bunch of guys. You know, I was putting in a lot of work. You know, to build my own name, to set up my own stage, and it worked. You know, And like I said, Tupac and MC Breed, they gave me that first official, like, that love to where the records I gave, their 2 singles came through me. I did Definition of a Thug Nigga.
Wow.
On Poetic Justice soundtrack. Pac heard me, heard the Endo Smoke, and he called. I didn't believe it was him at first, because I thought, I was like, oh, that ain't Pac. My Pac he ain't gonna call me like that.
Yeah.
So it ended up being him. So he told me, come to the studio, went to Echo Sound, brought all my shit, went through some samples and stuff like that, played some discs, and he heard the Wind Parade from, oh my God, it's Wind Parade from, oh my God, that's my guy too, jazz singer. Remember I told you I listened to jazz, and so that's what that's where that sample came from, Wind Parade, so I played it.
Donald Byrd.
Donald Byrd, and so he heard it, and he was like, he started asking me questions, like, Warren, like, what's up with you? Like, what's going on? Like, I'm like, shit, nothing, just upset a little bit, you know, I'm kind of like on my own, you know, just got into a shootout with a motherfucker, and just a bunch of shit was just not cool at that moment. So he took everything I said and he put that shit right in the fucking song with the shit that he added at the same time. And he called it My Definition of a Thug Nigga. And so I didn't hear him do the verse. He just went in the booth. Him and the engineer, you know how they go into the cans, you ain't hearing nothing. Just him and him can hear in the music. So he was in there for about 30 minutes, came out, and then he told him turn it up. Nigga turned that shit up. I was like, damn, I played the cards I was given. Thank God I'm still living. He was busting. And he was like, Warren, can you put some scratches and shit, all that shit in there? So I was like, yeah, hell yeah. I was like, if it is the season to be served, what you doing? Mobbing like a motherfucker. Tis the season to be served. What you doing? Mobbing like a motherfucker. I mixed up all that shit. And he was blowed away. And the Thug Life, Big Psych, Lil Psych, Rated R, Mac 10, Macadocious, Mac 10, Macadocious, they all came in the studio because one of their buddies that got killed. So Pac was like, you got a beat, Warren? And that's when I did that, How Long Will They Mourn Me? Boom, 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 boom. But what was a trip is I used the same sample. I used that sample on my album. Remember? Well, it's the super, the duper, the Land Cruiser Trooper. But I was doing that for him, just for a song for his homeboy. I said, this would go good just for you to do a song over it. So he did the How Long Will They Mourn Me? Boom, boom, boom. Did the whole verse, everything. He was like, man, I need something, I need a hook. I'm on the phone. Nate. Come up here, Tupac need a hook on this song, one of his homeboys just died. So back then it wasn't no navigation, so you had to tell them how to get there from the freeway, do this, do that, do that, do that. We was the navigators. And they came up in that motherfucking, I wish it was another, how long will they mourn my brother? That shit was out of here. Everybody was like, this shit is dope. But that was, my first introduction as far as my production being on a major scale. And Tupac and Breed gave me that platform.
And from there, so you introduced Pac to Dre?
That was my guy. Let me tell you, me and Dre, that's my guy. I mean,
the ultimate doc.
Just like I said, just being a kid, and then able to grow up and to hang with him now. We both hang, and you know, we can hang. We used to go have dinner, hang out. We'd go to clubs. He would rent a little spot. We'd go in there and listen to music that we did. Be a lot of beautiful women, food, and we just have a good time. You know, this was still like, you know, this was later on after the success of everybody. You know, I ain't never had no static at all. I ain't never had no static.
That's what's up.
You know.
Yeah. So we were talking about Do You See, and
we bumped heads a couple times, but it ain't no static.
Right. Yo, on the song Do You See, you were just talking about a lot of topics that's like just still relevant today. I mean, you were talking about just some of the general principles that you live by, like minding your own business and, you know what I'm saying, moving a certain way. But then I think it was at the end of the verse where you said, you was like, who's really the victim? The one that's doing the jacking, the brother doing the jacking, or the food
getting jacked.
Yeah. But it's interesting though, because that is still relevant to today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's a trip. Doing that record, it was a lot going on. Me and Mr. Grimm had kind of like fell out a little bit.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things going on. Like I said,
because you mentioned that in the rap too.
Huh?
You mentioned that in the rap too.
Yeah, it was. I said shit is getting so hectic that I can't even trust him now.
Yeah.
What would you do for a Warren G cut? Would you act the fool and nut the fuck up? Back the fuck up? Act the fuck up. Niggas talk shit, they get smacked the fuck up, straight up. And that was just, I was pissed off at that time on that record. You know who helped me write that record? Corrupt.
Word.
Yeah, he helped me write that record. I'm gonna tell you another secret. If you listen to This DJ, you could hear Snoop on there. I had to, because Death Row wouldn't let Snoop be on the record. He was doing the hook for me. Snoop was doing the hook for me, but I did the hook, and I had Snoop up under it. I put the Chipmunk voice on him.
Yeah.
Snoop helped me write that record.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what's
so
up.
Those two records, that Snoop helped me with this, DJ Corrupt helped me with Do You See. Everything else was all me.
Word.
Yeah.
Word. I joked about Sniff and Griffin, your barbecue company, but can you talk about that? Because I've been to Snoop's compound in LA for an event, maybe like twice, where I've experienced, you know what I'm saying, like you cooking.
Oh, you was there?
Bruh.
Okay.
Absolutely. Like
there
was, before the pandemic, there was a gaming event at the compound.
Yes, indeed.
And so I was there. I got 2 plates.
Yes,
for sure.
indeed.
You know
yes,
what I'm saying?
Indeed.
And,
yes, indeed.
Yeah, most definitely. So can you talk about, Sniff and Griffin and how you got that started and just how you killing it, you know what I'm saying, with catering events and all types of, all of that.
Yeah, Sniff and Griffin's BBQ was inspired by my father mainly. He was a chef. He was in the Navy, he boxed, he was a chef. And just the events that him and my parents used to have were having the barbecues where everybody having fun and there's good music and good conversation and just a good feeling. That stuck with me. And I used to try to do that even when we was hustling as a young teen. You can ask Snoop too. I used to always cook. No matter what we was doing, I would cook just to take our mind off of what's going on. Because that memory of having good times, I wanted to bring that element wherever I was at. And so I was inspired by my father, that way. And a lot of other pit masters, even a guy named Sonny out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. He was another inspiration. While I was on my quest, like being a pit master, I stopped by there and he gave me a lot of game on with wood, so that helped me with smoking. And so I just used to love to cook and go places and cook and have fun and do everything. So all my friends was like, Warren, it was like, you need to create product to go with that, because you got a platform, you a brand, so create some product to go with the Sniff and Griffin. So I got a few of my friends that's in the culinary world help me with my sauces and my rubs. Okay. As far as one of my rubs was all me, but one of my other rubs, some of my friends helped me put that together. Gotcha. And with my sauces, my homegirl Kat, she had helped me with that along with the different flavors, that whatever I wanted, she would make it taste like that.
Got you.
Very unique flavors.
Yeah.
I gotta that I'm trying to get the world to taste, which is starting to work out for me.
What flavors or sauces do you currently have?
I have We Brings Heat. That's a really good one. I have the OG Smoky, and I have the OG, the original.
Okay.
And really good sauces. I don't want to tell you about it, but you just got to taste it.
Okay. And where can they
and
buy
you'll
them
be
at?
like, well, you did get a chance to taste it. So,
Yeah.
right now, it's Sniffin Griffins BBQ.com. That's SNIFFIN Griffins GRIFFINS BBQ.com. Sniffin Griffins BBQ.com. But I'm in the works right now, talking to a lot of big companies to start, potentially getting it in stores. So hopefully we'll be in Walmart out here soon, Costco, and different stores, Kroger's and stuff like that. So we're working on it. It's coming together. But for now, people can get it at sniffingriffensbbq.com online.
Word, that's what's up, man. And if you able to get your hands on some, or if you can catch Warren at an event, I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed, man. That mac and cheese, I remember, bro.
That's TT's mac and cheese.
Yes, sir.
My wife, she did,
Yeah. I remember that, man. Them pans of mac and cheese went so fast. I remember that, bro. But
Snoop trying to he told me, say, God damn, nigga, we on tour right now. He telling me like, nigga, I think you need to be the chef on the tour right now, Warren. I said, God damn, well shit, I gotta perform to this shit kicking my, because I cook for him right now. I be cooking for him like my homegirl Queen B be like, Warren, Snoop said, could you make it some wings? All right.
Shout out to Queen too, man.
But he loved my wings. He loved all my. I do beef flankings. He loved all that shit. You know, everybody that tastes it really enjoy it. I got some different twists that I'm putting together. Too, that's gonna be a little different. I can't let everybody know yet, but it's gonna really be a game changer in the barbecue world.
That's what's up, man. I was just in Houston with Bun B, and
I'm gonna go. We'll be in Houston in a couple weeks.
That's what's up, man. His trail burgers are really on point, and it's just dope to see so many people from the culture tapping into
that camaraderie.
Yeah, tapping into food, fashion, technology, all of these things.
It's about building, man. Just building it and not having your eggs all in one basket. You gotta expand and just create other avenues, and just listen to what the people who became billionaires, what they did. You know, most of them, like, they have 5 to 10 businesses. One of them is gonna stick and create a really big revenue stream for you. And then that'll catapult the rest of them to create a revenue stream for you. So that's what it's about, building and also providing a lane for your family. Hire your nephews and sons and stuff to work for the company, run it. My sons, they go in, they package up my, we got our own little warehouse. They package everything up. My wife and my kids, they do that.
That's all right.
And it's just, teaching them. You know what I'm saying? Now, some of it be a little late sometimes. I'll be having to get in their ass. But it's all working out, man. And from them doing that, hopefully once everything switches over, you guys can go in a different position of overseeing and not having to do straight handwork. You could be CEOs and managers and helping other people learn and teaching them the business at the same time.
No, that's what's up. I mean, it's so important to be able to build these businesses and, be able to teach our kids and other people close to us who want to learn, who want this knowledge, to be able to, learn entrepreneurship and, things like that, and just the values and things like that that come with it. So
yes, indeed.
That's really dope. Warren, what else you working on, man? What else you got coming up?
Got a single with Lil Wayne.
Okay.
It's called All Alone. I'm working on an EP that's gonna bounce right off of that.
Okay.
Working on my 30-year anniversary record.
Okay.
Still young in the game. young world. I'm still young in the game. I ain't super old, but you know, I'm still young in the game. I'm gonna do my 30-year anniversary album.
I mean, that's a blessing, bro. We celebrating the 50th year of hip hop,
yes,
and the culture and everything. So, you know, to be able to stand the test of time, to be able to say that you had a song that's 30 years old that 20-year-olds can rap word for word right now, like, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a trip. Just, you know, God had my back, you know, and still have my back. And, you know, it's about, you know, in this business, even though it's a different hip hop game today, you know, with a lot of dudes with the ops here, they saying ops this, ops that, and killing and all that shit. Yeah. That's different. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Yeah.
You know, but they make good records. You know, don't get me wrong. I you know, I don't hate on the young world. You know, I don't condone like a lot of that shit that be going back and forth as far as motherfuckers getting killed and this, that, and this. But battling on the record, that's fine. Yeah. Knuckle up here and there, that's fine. Yeah. But the killing part is just that ain't. I mean, our shit was. Don't get it wrong. Our shit was pretty bad. Yeah. But it wasn't just for nothing. Our shit wasn't for nothing. They killing over some shit with a woman, a girl. But y'all killing over some ass. Or somebody said something, you ain't got more bodies than me. Yeah. What the fuck is that? That shit is crazy. They playing this shit like a video game, and that shit ain't, and it hurts. It only, when it touch you close, that's when your ass say, you know what? Right. Hold up, I gotta slow down. Yeah. You know what? You know, I just hope they get that shit, you know, cause it's like, it's making money for the record companies and shit, but it's also taking people's lives. You gotta think, you taking a brother, a sister, a nephew, a niece, you know, somebody's daddy, somebody's mother. You know what I mean? That shit crazy.
Oh man, ego is a deadly disease.
I ain't playing that shit. You know, I got, like I said, I got love for the young world, my era, the whole nine. Yeah. You know, but the thing to build great relationships, you know, that's the key to having longevity in the music business, is create great relationships. Don't be one of those ones that's always in the shit and just a cancer to the industry. You know, I try to build relationships with people, so whenever I come, like where I'm at right now, look, I'm here at DGB. Yeah. I'm on the porch. Yeah. You know what I mean? Shit. And, you know, just building relationships and you know, don't get me wrong, I was a hothead at one point. Got that reality check, you know, where I was about to be in jail for a long time. Yeah. But I said to myself, you know what? I said, God, if you give me another chance, I promise I won't get in no more trouble. I was in trouble. Huh. It was bad. And got blessed with another shot at the music industry and life on the street. So I changed my whole life. I ain't been in contact with the police in like 26 years, something like that. Yeah. Changed my whole life and just started building relationships, because I don't want to be that motherfucker that people hate. You know, so artists, take heed of that. Yeah,
that's real. I got a couple of hip hop nerd questions that I've always wanted to ask you before we get out of here. So, is it true that you were close to bailing Pac out of jail back when he was locked up?
True.
Okay.
Yeah. Richie Rich is one of my good friends. Okay. And him and Pac was like that at that time. And I was out there in the Bay hanging out with Rich, because we was both on Def Jam. And I told Rich, I said, look, man, I said, write Pac, whenever you talk to him again, tell him I'll bail him out. Because I think it was like a couple $100,000 or something like that. I was like, I'll bail him out. I said, I don't want nothing back, just give me a verse. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. You know, so I got beat to the punch. Suge beat me to the punch and bailed him out.
Word. Is it true that you recorded or you produced a song for Michael Jackson, but it never came out? Yes. You never heard it?
Yeah, I produced a couple records. I did about maybe 3 or 4 records for Michael Jackson. It was Renee and oh, he'd kill me if he seen me. The main guy, the white dude, big dude, he had the beard. What was his name? He was like the main Michael Jackson main guy. I forgot. Okay. It was Renee from Renee and Angela, and it was it was either Brent or Brett. It was one of those names. I think, if I'm not mistaken. And met Michael Jackson.
Okay, you got to meet him?
Yeah, I got to meet him. It was at Record One.
Yeah.
Came in there and he was just like a regular motherfucker. Like what's up, man? Like that. It wasn't that, hey, you know.
See, I was gonna ask you that too.
No, it was like, hey, what's up, man? And you know, really love your music, man. And da 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 da. It was like that.
Word.
Yeah, Mike was a real dude. It wasn't no like.
Yeah.
Like he was, nah, he was a real, like he talked like how we talking.
Word. Mm-hmm. That's so ill when you hear these stories about like Michael Jackson and hear like that, you know, how much of a real one he was. Yeah. And then even a cat like Prince on the same
Prince
tip.
the same
like,
way.
You know
same
what I mean?
Way. Good dude.
Yeah.
Was cool and would give us James Brown.
Word.
Giving us game. He sat with me and Snoop. We sat with him for about at least 8 to 10 hours, maybe longer than that.
Wow.
And just talking. He just giving us the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Word. And that's why I say Snoop is the hardest motherfucking working artist I know in my life. I ain't never seen nobody grind and work as hard as him.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, damn, I had to bow down a few times. We just talked today. I said, nigga, I had to bow. I said, I just told him that today. I said, I had to bow down. I couldn't do it.
Nah, that's what's up though, man. I mean, you know, they say that, you know, you're supposed to keep a certain type of company with you, you know, to inspire you. Yeah. So for your best friend to be one of the hardest working people out here, and then I bet for him on the other side,
I used to be like that to him. I used to be like that as far as getting us out there in the music industry. That's how I used to be. And now he done turned, and now he's doing it in the industry. Hard working.
And how I was just talking about how, you know, you took your circumstances and, you know, you didn't sit back and feel sorry for yourself. You took it, you took the ball and you ran with it, and you made opportunities happen, you made things happen. Yeah. And I'm sure for bruh to watch you from his perspective do that and not have to ask for handouts, not have to ask, I know that just gives just a certain level of respect even from that side to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. Warren,
I done had ups and downs before.
For sure.
You know,
I mean, all partners do, all brothers do. I mean, come on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But most definitely, man. Well, Warren, man, it's been a pleasure, bro, being able to chop it up with you, man. You got any shout outs or any words you want to leave the fans with before we get up out of here?
Much love to everybody out here. Much love to you guys off the porch for having me here on you guys' platform. Much love for Funky and the Funky OG. He gave me a gift.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm in town, that's my kinfolk.
There we go. Love that Funky OG.
I do have a lot of family out here.
Word.
And much love to everybody out here. Much love to the young era. And just you know, everybody out in this motherfucker. Much love. Shit.
Nobody does it better. I'm sitting here tripping, my mind is blocked. Nate Dogg just spit it, so it's time to concoct. No one can do it better.